Single-family homes in Las Vegas are now worth $485,000, up $20,000 from last year. My name is Ryan Rose, a real estate agent serving the Las Vegas Valley. This is the March 2025 housing market update, where I'll break down exactly what's happening in our local market. If you want to see my other market updates, well, you're in luck. This is the first one, so they will be coming out monthly. I am not positive if I want to do zip code specific or just Las Vegas as a whole. I'll probably be breaking it down from single family homes, townhomes, condos, all in separate videos. But in this one specifically, we're just going to lump them all together and just kind of go from there. So if you do have certain zip codes that you prefer, like 89135, 89011, whatever it is, put in the comments, let me know, because if you're interested in learning more about that particular zip code, then I'll just do those zip codes. It just makes sense. All right. So this is the March 2025 update. So let's dive into what the Las Vegas Realtors are reporting for March 2025. According to the LVR, we saw 2,142 single-family homes sold last month, which is up 2.9% compared to the same time last year. So we're seeing more jump in homes being sold, so that's pretty good. For condos and townhouses specifically, there were 570 units sold, which is actually down 3.4% from March 2024. What's really interesting is the inventory situation. We now have 5,416 single-family homes available on the market without offers, which represents a massive 63% increase from last year. For condos and townhouses specifically, available inventory is at 2,204, so about a little over 2,200, up an even more dramatic 86.9% from last year. This surge in inventory has pushed our months of supply to 2.5 months for single family homes and 3.9 months for condos and townhouses. This represents increases of 58.4% and 93.5%, as you can see there, respectively, from last year. Yeah, the market is definitely shifting, but let's break down exactly what this means for buyers and sellers. Okay. Let's go to the next page there. So looking at prices, the median price for a single family home in Las Vegas is now about $485,000, which is up 4.3% compared to March of 2024. For condos and townhouses, the median price is $306,495, showing a stronger growth of 8.5% year over year. The one interesting point I want to note is the difference between the median price of homes actually selling $485,000 versus new listings coming onto the market, which is actually $525,000. That's a $40,000 gap, and that suggests sellers might be pricing slightly ahead of where the market is actually transacting, and that's a big problem, because that means we're not really setting expectations, one, as realtors, or sellers just want to try and get that unicorn buyer that doesn't always come, right? So we have to be super highly aware when we're putting our house on the market that you're pricing it effectively and correctly, because if you overprice it and then all of a sudden you start doing price reductions after price reductions to try and keep up with the market, it's not going to be a good thing at the end of the day. I promise. You're going to sell it for a lot less than you probably could have if you just priced it right, the first time. For condos and townhouses, we can see here a similar but smaller gap with sold units at a median of 306,000. Like we said earlier, a little over 306, versus the new listings at 300,000. So interestingly, the condo market is showing stronger price growth than single family homes, which might indicate more demand pressure in that more affordable segment of the market, but we're seeing new listings priced below that median price, which is very interesting. That means that the condos and townhouses, they're they're being hyper aware of what their homes are actually worth. So that's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting information. Um, if we look at price trends, let's go to the next page, page 4. If we look at the price trends over the past several years, the charts show steady growth for single family homes since 2018 with some seasonal fluctuations. Obviously, 2020 kind of blew everything up. um, from the data provided by Las Vegas Realtors, we can see that single family home prices have consistently trended upward despite occasional month to month fluctuations. For March specifically, since that's what we're kind of honing in on for this video here, single family home prices remain flat compared to February, 0.0% growth. So there's literally no growth month over month, while condo prices have increased slightly by 1.2%. So this is all very interesting. The number of closings has shown typical seasonal patterns with 2,100, a little over 2,100 units sold in March, which is up 20.3% from February. This follows the normal spring uptick in activity we tend to see in Las Vegas. So in Las Vegas, you'll see that a lot in the spring, where everything just kind of starts getting really active. Yeah. So let's go to our next page here. So how hot is the market? Let's look at the speed of sales. Currently, 56.9% of single family homes are selling within 30 days, as we can kind of see here, which is down from 62.5% last year. For condos in town, so what that means is that the homes they're on the market for a little bit longer than normal. So last year at this time, because there wasn't as much inventory as there is now, homes were selling a lot quicker. So now, again, we need to adjust our expectations a little bit on how fast can we actually sell the house. There's actually a way to look at this in the MLS. So make sure you ask your realtor or me to see this. But you can tell by zip code, and then you can filter it by zip code. Then you can filter it by price point. So let's say your home is worth $485,000, since that's the median price. We can filter it to 400 to 500 or 450 to 550, and look for your specific zip code. So let's say 89178. So we can see in 89178 how fast are homes being sold. Now again, it does depend on price, how you're pricing the home, all that kind of good stuff. But assuming that you're willing to price your home at fair market value, the correct price, in 89178 or wherever, then you should expect your home to get into a contract, not get offers, not fully close, but actually get into a contract within those amount of days. And I think in 89178 it's about 23 days or so. I'm gonna verify that. Don't quote me, please, because I don't have it up here. But just a little tidbit for you to know. And for condos and townhouses, 54.2% are selling within 30 days compared to 56.3% last year. At the end of the day, affordability for people, because interest rates are higher, not as high as last year, so that makes it more interesting. Probably a lot more cash buyers last year than now. But pricing strategy is one of the most important things. It's not marketing. So if your realtor keeps focusing on the marketing that they're going to do for the home, that's awesome, and they should do all of that. However, it's not always that. You can market the hell out of a property, but if it's overpriced, it's not going to do anything for you. So do the marketing, price it effectively. They have to go hand in hand. So these numbers tell us the market is moving a bit slower than it was last year, as we were just talking about, which aligns with the increased inventory we're seeing. We're also seeing more homes staying on the market longer, with the percentage of homes taking 60 plus days to sell increasing compared to last year. Again, sellers need to be realistic on their actual price of the home and what it should be listed at. And that's not all sellers' faults, right? A lot of realtors or anyone in general, they don't want the friction, right? So they don't want to have that tough conversation that, maybe, just maybe, you're pricing it a little bit too high and it's going to stay on the market for longer. I just want to make sure you knew that. Not many people will even say that. What they'll say is, they'll typically ask the realtor, hey, what do you think the price is? And some realtors will say, well, what do you think it is? And it just comes ping pong back and forth, right? But ultimately, the realtor will side with whatever the seller is saying because they want the listing. And that's not how I work. I've actually turned down a couple because I didn't understand why they wanted to price it. Like, there was one, just quick story. There was one beautiful house, great neighborhood, everything was great. Had a lot of stuff in the house. It was very cluttered. So when you take pictures, it's gonna show. And so that's a little bit of a hurdle. And he wanted 1.025 million for the house. Now, that's a really weird number for 1.025 to list. That's kind of a weird number. If someone wants a house up to $1 million, then they're never going to see that $1.025 million house. And it's just a weird number in general. Psychologically speaking, people aren't going to look for that, you know what I mean? But he wanted 1.025. I did the comps in the area. I was extensive on it because I really wanted this one more than others. I don't remember why. I think it was mainly because it was in a fantastic neighborhood and good size, private, guard gated. It was where I like to be. And he, after doing the comps, doing everything, he had a corner lot. That does matter. That is extra. But he was backing up to not a main street, but a street that had some traffic going on. And so after doing all the comps, doing everything, it was fair market value is 850. And he just really wanted, I think he just wanted 2 commas in the price. I think that's what he wanted. I don't know. He was pretty pushy on that. I said I'd be willing to list it at 925, but after 2 weeks, which usually you can tell after 14 days, sometimes sooner, after that 2 week period, if we're not getting showings, we're not getting contracts, we need to aggressively reduce it down to 875. A $50,000 haircut, just bam. With his story, he needed to go, he needed to sell, he needed to get out of here, he needed to move back to Texas, whatever it is. He absolutely refused. That was in July 2024, so almost a year now. That house is still on the market. It still hasn't sold. He ended up using my pricing strategy somewhat by doing $925,000 with a realtor, and they haven't reduced in 3 months. That house isn't going to sell. It just isn't. He's not going to get what he wants, and it sucks. I was a little bit too honest, probably, and that's where my fault lies, but I digress. Again, pricing effectively matters. Anywho, let me get back to my little teleprompter here. It still bothers me. So new listings are surging with 3,340 new single family homes hitting the market in March of 2020. March up 22.6% from last year. Let's go ahead and show you this page here. So that kind of shows all that. Similarly, condos and townhouses new listings are up 21.9%. So about equal, right, with single family homes at 1,053 units. This influx of inventory is giving buyers more options than they've had in years. So that's why homes are staying on the market just a little bit longer than they normally would. Um, so let's go back. Let's go back a page. Yeah, this one makes sense. So looking at the historical data from the LVR charts, we can see that the current sales volume of 2,142 single family homes is significantly higher than what we saw during the pandemic slowdown, but has moderated from the peak frenzy of 2021 and 2022, where people weren't even going to see the house before they put an offer in $60,000 over ask. Wild times. Um, Geez. Price appreciation has been consistent since 2018 though. So with the median price moving from 300 to our current level of 485. However, the slope of price increases has been flattening recently compared to the steeper appreciation we saw in 2021 and 2022. Now, so it's been at 485 for, 3-4 months now. It hovers 480. I think 485 is the highest we've gone. Maybe it was like a little bit over like 486 or something, but we're at the height right now, for now, anyways, and so it's been here for a little bit, so something to keep in mind. The inventory levels, the inventory levels we're seeing now at 5,416 available single-family homes are the highest we've seen since before 2022, but still lower than pre-pandemic levels when we routinely had 7,000 houses on the market and available. We had, it right now you can still consider it a seller's market, because there's 2.5 months, as we talked about before. There's 2.5 months of inventory out there, but buyers are right now, they're still able to get some stuff, still able to get concessions, some add some more contingencies in their offer. If the appraisal comes back lower than the agreed upon purchase price, there's more flexible actions there, so it's pretty helpful. But yeah, we're still considered a seller's market, so we're still appreciating, but because of the low inventory. But as soon as we start getting more and more houses on the market, it's going to be tough for a lot of sellers. It's going to be a real kick in the pants because they're not going to realize all of this, and their expectations are not going to be accurate, and which is really unfortunate. But that's my job to go ahead and educate. That's what I'm trying to do here in this very long video. So while the Las Vegas Realtors report doesn't break down specific neighborhood data, the overall Clark County market is showing similar trends across most areas. The Las Vegas Valley as a whole is experiencing this inventory surge and moderate price growth. So based on previous reports and market observations, areas like Summerlin, Henderson, North Las Vegas, the big ones, have consistently shown strong demand, while some older central neighborhoods have seen more moderate activity. Another one we can add is Sky Canyon. That is a huge thing right now. They're building like crazy out there in the Northwest, Centennial Hill, Sky Canyon, and there is so much activity. Quick story, I have a client right now who, they're pretty specific on exactly what they want, and we've seen 20 plus houses in their buy box, and now that's since February. But now what we're seeing is, as soon as one house goes on the market, and I don't know if it's specific to exactly what she's looking for and everyone else is looking for the same thing, it's quite possible, but there was one house that went on the market in 2 days. 2 days, it went under contract. We didn't even have time to go and take a look at it. So I don't know if that is going to keep happening, but it's been like that for a month now. So if you're near Floyd Lamb's Park, 3-car garage, I am looking for my client. Please contact me. Information is in the description. I need to buy your house with my client. Please, we are looking. Whew. All right. So the supply situation is one of the biggest stories in our market right now, with 3,340 new single-family listings in March, up 22.6% from last year, and total available inventory up 63%, which is 5,416. That includes the condos. We're seeing a dramatic shift in market dynamics. So this has pushed our months of supply from 1.6 months last year to 2.5, like we talked about before. For condos and townhouses, months of supply has nearly doubled from 2 to 3.9. Keep that in mind for all of you condos and townhouse owners. Traditionally, a balanced market is considered to be around 4 to 6 months of supply. So while we're still technically in seller's territory, like I was just saying, we're moving towards a more balanced one than we've seen in years, probably since 2018. So this shift gives buyers more negotiating power, as I was stating, and time to make decisions than they've had recently, except if you're by Floyd Lambs Park. I'm telling you, if you're by Floyd Lambs Park right now, this is April 24th, 2025. You thought about selling your house, contact me. I will get it sold fast. I promise. Promise. As long as you price it right. So if you're curious about what your Las Vegas home might be worth in today's challenging and changing market, I offer a free no obligation home value analysis. With inventory and market condition shifting, having accurate pricing information is more important than ever. I have it in one of the links in the description. If you don't want to look there, fine. It's rosehomeslv.com/evaluation or evaluations. It might just be evaluation, but again, links in the description so you can make sure. That'll give you a quick analysis of your house. It won't be the end all be all, but as soon as I get that back in my database, I'll look at it and verify it's accurate, verify if it's accurate information, and then from there, I'll give you a call, text you, email you to let you know like what I noticed and what I would list your home for in today's market and things like that. Let's go back to this one. So looking at the pricing data more closely, we see more interesting patterns emerging. So the median price for single-family homes is $485, like we were talking about, but the average price is significantly higher at $630,000. This gap indicates that higher price homes are pulling up the average. So a lot of the people from Southern California or, well, Northern California now, I've noticed, they're selling their houses there, which are worth considerably more because of the market that they're in. So they're able to buy more expensive houses here and get more than what they had in Southern California. Like I have someone right now whose house is worth $750,000 in Vista, California. I think that's near San Diego, right? No, Los Angeles. They, for $750,000, it's 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and it is not in great condition. So, which is interesting because now they're going to have about $500,000 of cash to spend on buying a house. If they wanted to put that as a 20% down payment, I mean, that's an expensive house. If they want to do 50%, it's $1 million house here. But their mortgage is only going to be $500,000. So wouldn't you do that? So anyone in Southern California, if you're watching this, give me a call. I have a lot of stuff to show you. Anyhow, so for condos and townhouses, the median, as we've said before, is 306, a little bit over that, with an average of 323,000, showing a much smaller disparity between median and average prices in this segment. When we look at time on the market, we see distinct patterns by price point, like I was telling you earlier. So according to the Las Vegas Realtors data, LVR data, the 56.9% of single-family homes sell within 30 days, 19.1% are selling between 31 and 60, and 8.6 between 61 and 90 days, 6.8% between 91 and 120 days, and 8.7% take more than 121 days to sell. Again, that is just overpricing a house that is just not worth it. And then you just try to keep price reduction. At the end of the day, people are going to start wondering what the hell's wrong with this house. And they don't even want to go see it. But that's where you get your investors involved, and they will definitely not pay whatever that price is on Zillow or wherever you're looking. So the condo townhouse market shows a similar pattern, with 54.2% selling within 30 days, 20% between 31 and 60, and the remainder taking longer. This suggests that well-priced properties in desirable areas are still moving quickly despite the overall market slowdown. So, based on the data we've analyzed, what can we expect for the Las Vegas housing market through the rest of 2025? So the year-over-year growth in home prices is continuing, but at a more moderate pace. So it's 4.3% for single-family homes and 8.5% for condos and townhouses, compared to previous years with inventory. So with inventory levels up dramatically, so 63% for single family, almost 87% for condos, we're likely to see continued moderation in price growth rather than the rapid appreciation we've seen in years. The market appears to be moving towards a more balanced one, but we're still looking at a seller's market, obviously. It is more balanced, but it's still a seller's market. Buyers can get more, so don't be afraid to ask. And again, like I was saying earlier, for context, balanced market typically is 4 to 6 months. Let's go to page 10 of this report. And again, this report is going to be in my description, so I'm going to give you a link straight to it, so you don't have to worry about capturing all of this yourself. You can just download the report and follow along with me if you like. The Las Vegas economy remains relatively strong, which should support housing demand, but buyers now have significantly more options than they've had in years. This combination suggests we'll likely see a healthy but more moderate market throughout 2025, with reasonable price appreciation continuing, but at a more sustainable pace. Typical is 3 to 4% or something. Last year, I think we were at 7, all told. The year before that, we were around 8 or something. So that's unsustainable. It's not going to happen. We're probably going to be looking at more close to 3% now. If you're thinking, let me see here. If you're thinking about buying or selling in this evolving market, having expert guidance is more important than ever. Drop your thoughts and questions in the comments. I'd rather do videos that aren't boring like this one has been, I'm sure. But I'd rather do more videos on questions and comments of what you actually want to hear. I know some channels probably don't do that, or they do, but I specifically want to do videos specifically for things that you want to hear. So drop it in the comments and tell me what you guys want, what kind of questions you guys have. Anything really, so that I can kind of just see what you guys want. I appreciate you guys watching this March 2025 Las Vegas housing market update. If you found this information valuable and you haven't fallen asleep yet, please hit the like button. It helps me, and subscribe for next month's update. Again, I'm going to be doing this more. I'm thinking about doing zip code specific, so in the comments, put that in the comments, like I said earlier, to see what zip code you want to hear about, and I'll do a deep dive on everything inside that zip code, and we'll kind of go from there. All right? Thanks, guys. See you next time.